afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching us from. We thank you for joining us again. Now, you may be wondering, why is David back into politics? Well, it's that time of the year that we didn't have the opportunity to leave it behind, but come back to the reality. To think about the future of most of the African countries, but more specifically, Uganda's politics, the future of Uganda. Uganda seems to be one of the greatest countries ever in the world with its natural resources, good people, loving people. If I tell you the truth, if you go anywhere in the diaspora, they will tell you Ugandans are happy people. They are loving and welcoming. But there is a question in the political spectrum of the country. Why is it that only in politics things are so bad? That because of politics, even the rest of the economy is so bad. It goes back from both those in the government and in the opposition. Let's look at some more things that happened. Today, our area of discussion is within the opposition. The fights, the scandals. I have never given time on the Epic Front to come and, discuss about influencers and bloggers on this show. But time has come for us to put some light on the key things that are happening in the country. Number one, let's look at the order of how things unveil in Uganda's politics. You may have never given it a chance to think about it, but guess what? Remember, we've just finished the by-elections in Uganda. The Kayunga by-election that put President Museveni and Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi under pressure. All of a sudden, even though this took a lot of money, a lot of time and people's interests, the stories disappeared. How? There came the stories of Bujingo scandal. Immediately after that, there was a very great trend that was either promoted by the government. Some of you may never know how this is done, but I would like to share with you before we start the Epic Front show officially, 2022. The government can pay the mainstream media to promote a story that will make you happy and make you forget about the key interesting things in the Republic of the country. And that's what we are seeing. From Bujingo's scandal, we went into the Jemba, the funeral announcer. Immediately after that, as people were concentrating and thinking about how did we lose Kayunga by-elections and why was it done like that, there comes the National Inter-Platform Influencers scandal. This has covered almost 2 to 3 weeks. And who knows? Is it paid for by the government and regime, or is it people in the National Inter-Platform just bringing out their grievances in the post-election period? You should remember, if you don't, maybe I can remind somebody. Yesterday marked 1 year since January 2021, when you and many other Ugandans went out there to vote for the right candidate. Since then, some argue that Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi won the election, and he's the legitimate president of the country. And others are saying, well, no, it's not true. The president is President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. He was declared. And indeed, he's the man controlling all the machinery of the country. But let's leave that aside. Tonight I have a guest in the house, but I'm not going to say him first before I finish up this. The wars in the National Inter-Platform, influencers fighting against each other, leaders within the organization. The beginning of all this could have started in 2019 or 2018, during the great times of the People Power movement. There were fights, but people had a goal to reach. The goal was to win the 2021 general elections. So these fights were in most cases silenced. And I think everybody should applaud the National Platform for achieving that. But maybe they never had the post-election strategy on how to handle these cases. And now we are seeing what my producer, I'm sure, is going to show. Patricia Saungu, who is one of the greatest influencers in the diaspora, fighting against Freddie Lumbuye, who is also another influencer. At first, he was never recognized as a member of the National Unity Platform. But after his arrest, we saw everyone coming up and say, well, this is a comrade to us. He has been strong, he has fought for us, and we need to support him regardless of all situations. And that was a great job. But the question is right now, why now? Why are these people fighting against each other, speaking ill against each other? Where is the future of the National Unity Platform? And what is the leadership of the National Unity Platform doing to solve this problem? Could it be that, yes, as allegations say, that maybe they were paid to fight against each other, to bring down the name of Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi as the president of the National Unity Platform? Could it be that, well, it's time to bring out the grievances? I have never fought either of these people, but recently I picked interest because I was pushed by my producers to say, hey, David, you got to do something about this. And I went down and started watching some of these videos, these bloggers or influencers in the party. And one of them said, if I do remember well, that it's time to open up. And we don't care if everything falls down, we can rebuild it. You must have watched that video. And another one said, you're speaking ill against me because of A, B, C, and C. So that created all this division in the party. The wars. Now, before I bring in my guest tonight, you may wonder what we are going to be discussing about, but our area of concentration is going to be on such issues. Where does this leave the opposition in Uganda? And how is the National Unity Platform leadership penetrating to solve these problems? You may not have heard or don't remember what happened between or within the diaspora community. Remember the time when, though it was silenced, and very soon we bring out this information because we do have it. The war between the diaspora Boston chapter and the diaspora leadership from the top. Remember that war? That was silenced. But we will bring it out at the right time because we're still digging down so that we only provide facts rather than rumors. Why is all this coming out after the post-elections? Where is it leaving the National Unity Platform? An organization, the biggest organization in Uganda on the opposition side. I'm joined by Apollo Ranga. Apollo, I want to thank you for joining me. You have been following these stories. And for many of our viewers, know you are somebody who has been fighting against the National Unity Platform based on the arguments that we've always had in the show. But for sure, I know that this is not the time to bring about that. This is the time just to make an analysis of what we are experiencing in the National Unity Platform. This is one of the greatest organizations in Uganda, and it has changed the political spectrum of the country. Why now? Thank you for joining me, Apollo, and it's great to have you in 2022. Uganda has changed so much. We expected by now to have Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi in the office of president, but that did not happen because of the political situations in the country. How has the year been for you?
The year was good. We started it very well. I just want to wish our viewers a happy new year and a prosperous new year. There have been a lot of news, of course.
Yep.
A lot of news. Some news are just nagging. Some news are just a lot of amazing things going on politically, stability wise, and there's a lot of things that has been going on. But politically, the world is living on the mindset. The politics game is a mindset game.
Right.
So sometimes those who play well their cards, they can disorganize you and to become disorganized when you're not organized. National Unity Platform is a new, I can tell right now it's a leading opposition in Uganda. I can't deny that according to the facts, but I think there was a kind of a rush. There are so many things that were not in order by the time we entered the elections of 2021. There's a lot of things which were not put in order.
So yeah, sure. Like you know, I want to get to, straight to you, Apollo, and we'll dig into a little bit of what we are seeing right now, the fights that are going on within the National Unity Platform. I want to go straight to the issue between the influencers and how the leadership of the National Unity Platform is acting towards solving the problem. First of all, it's bringing down the name of the party, and the fights are still going on. One says you stole the money. Is this due to failure for the party to be accountable for all the money that comes in, or is it just about greed amongst just private individuals who think they'll use the party to explore their views out there? What's your opinion on that?
You know, from the beginning, when it went to media that Fred Rumbia was arrested, there have never come an evidence or really that Rumbia was arrested. We came here, I remember, we talked about that. We saw Honorable Zake going to Turkey, but they don't show us exactly where they went. We saw this member of parliament who stepped in Robert Chagulanyi's shoes in his constituency, his former constituency.
Right.
Constituency is, I forgot his name. He's a lawyer, trying to say a lot of things. Even he reached an extent of saying that Rumbuye wrote a letter. But in all those things, they have never showed us where is Rumbuye, where is the prison they arrested him. So it comes to the conclusion this time when we see all of these things, that whatever we are saying that Rumbuye was not arrested, because they have never showed us anything.
All right. Apollo, you mentioned that, and I want to ask my producer to show me one of the comments from Sarah Joy. Sarah Joy is one of the other influencers in the political spectrum of the National Unity Platform. She has been very vocal from day one to today. And she's, for our research tells us that she's part of the supporters of Patricia Seunga. And I want to ask my producer, I'm sure that post is already there. He has put it out there. Sarah Joy said something, and I would like to put it straight away. She said, and I quote, that she was basing on the argument of the audio that Fred Rumbia must have released on the issue of Patricia Seunga and the fight that's going on. And she said, the fact remains, it was not a political arrest, that Fred Rumbia was not arrested for political reasons. And I have the charge sheet with me. Musome Sao was arrested for overstaying his visa, that an immigration issue, but since we are ceasing fire, and I would stop on that. This is one of the key influential figures in the diaspora community, and she says facts remain that this man was not arrested because of political reasons, but because of overstaying himself in the diaspora community or in Turkey. That leaves a question to you, our viewers. In the beginning of all this, the point we had was, this is a comrade. He's being extradited back to Uganda by the president and the leadership of the NRM government in Uganda for political reasons. But it seems like there were some lies that were being spread around before all this came to play. No one knew the facts, and we may never know what the facts were. But these are people who are behind the demonstrations, the soliciting of funds to rescue Fred Rumbia. And when they come out right now and they say, well, your problem was not a political issue, but your personal issue, it leaves the questions to the messages that were being spread before in the public.
I think
how Ugandans were viewing this.
I can believe with Sarah Joy's information that it was not a political arrest, and there was no even arrest. It was not a political arrest, and there was no even arrest. And the question is, according to what I told you before, what has been going on, that there is no any trend, even to those who are pushing this, collecting, soliciting money from people, we're going to help so and whatever it is, they have never even showed us, like anybody, even like a lawyer in Turkey standing with maybe with the Zake or with anybody. You know, I will not go into that. But of course, according to the source I have from Turkey, I have a lot of guys there working over there. they were at the first time telling you what Rumbiye was doing over there. Even they said he overstayed. He overstayed. That's why he was missing his documents and stuff like that. It could have been one of the reasons, but I don't think there was an arrest. Apart from, according to Sarah Joy, she's right. This was not a political arrest. It was like a fake arrest. Somebody arrested himself, maybe to get out of poverty. Because according to Rumbiye, when I heard him on the video, there is a video which is going on. He said he spent 2 years without working. That President Museveni arrested his guys who were working for him and his business. But the thing is, even I saw several people asking him on the comments, what were you doing? Which jobs were you talking about? Which President Museveni stopped and arrested all those people who were working for you? So everything is confusing, but another thing.
Those are just allegations.
A little bit.
Those are just allegations.
A little bit. One thing I want to tell people who go so many times to the demonstration. It's your rights to demonstrate.
Right.
And it was good to feel for somebody, like as a Ugandan is arrested with things which you don't even know. I mean, it was okay to fight for his rights and whatever it is. But at the moment, we need to know exactly at first before we go into anything or involved in anything. Let's not take everything political.
Right, but yeah. let's get things straight. And I'm sure that there are a number of people who are watching us right now, and you may also be asking the same question that all of us are asking right now: who was what and who did what? Now, I hate in most cases to come and give my personal opinions on a show like this, because it's not my part. It's more of the guests I bring up and the viewers who are out there who watch our shows on different platforms that we do operate from. The point here that we see, and I'd like to ask you, our viewer, is: could it be that greed for power within these organizations is causing all that we are seeing today, making you the supporters of the parties? It could be FDC, it could be DP, or specifically National Unity Platform, to go off track from what you're aiming at. Could it be the reason why? Here's my point. For some of you may not know, but we have done research as a network here, and of course at a personal level. When you move in the diaspora, the National Resistance Movement members are so united that you may never even know where they belong or where they are. You may never hear a word from them fighting against each other. Reason is simple. One, they are scared that they don't want to expose themselves. And two, they know what they want. They have a goal, they have a target. Go to South Africa. I have had friends from South Africa. I live in the United States, and I've heard from United States people. The NRM people are so united. Why is it that members of the opposition are so disunited? From the leadership. In the beginning of the show, I mentioned about the scandal between the leadership of the diaspora, the People Power chapter in Boston, the National Unity Platform chapter in Boston, fighting with or against the leadership, the top leadership of the diaspora. Harmony Ainabiona. We're not even sure whether Harmony sued the leader of the diaspora community, but for that, I will not say anything until we get facts. These questions are still roaming everywhere. The questions are still going on everywhere. Why now? Greed. Are they greedy for money? Are these influencers, the Patricia Seongs, the Lumbuyes, are they just fighting for money? And the final question I would like to ask you before I get back to my guest: where is the boss or the bosses? What is the Central Executive Committee of the National Unity Platform doing? Because what we're saying, these are killing the name of the National Unity Platform. They're killing the efforts that were put before the 2021 general elections and even after. Where are all these leaders? What are they doing to talk to these influencers? Apple, I want to come back to you.
I think politically, I can say they are welcome into politics. NUP is welcome into politics. That's what they call politics. You know, politics is not a walkover. It's not a walkover. So you should appreciate when you wake up in the morning and you abuse people like Nobati Mao, like BCJs and whatever it is. Just know they have been there. They know what is going on. They know the fire which is there. One of the main thing in politics, as I told you, people come in politics with their own agendas. People come in politics with greed of small places. You know what I'm saying? They are so. That's why when they get to those places, they become comfortable. You know what I'm talking about? For example, let me take you back to Uganda. Before, we have 60, I think, members of parliament of NUP in the parliament today. The question is, what those members of parliament can do in the parliament of Uganda today? Apart from owning, there is what they call owning a position and having an authority.
In position, right?
So we have a lot of people in Uganda today who have the positions with no authority. You understand? Now, I'm not dissing anybody here. Kyagulanyi Robert is the leader
President
of the opposition.
Platform, right?
Yes, today. The question is, to his capacity today, they call him a lot of things, principle, whatever it is. The question is, what can he change today in Uganda? Nothing. He has a position, but he has no authority. I take you back. Let's look to the people who came out like telling us exactly what is going on. You know, Abaganda bagamba nti go atanaita ita yatenda nyino kufumba.
Right.
Those Kanochi's messages have been there for 20 years in the fire, in the race. When he came out of there and he said, I tried this, I failed. I have found out that a ballot paper cannot remove this man. Let's try at least to find another way to remove this man.
All right.
And hold on. And you came and attacked him. And you know, politics, that's what I said. And the same man, Besigye said that the people in power captured the powers, the authority of the citizens. That's what they are using to put the citizen down.
All right.
So this is what is happening today, is that we will have a lot of people in opposition fighting. When you talk about diaspora here, fighting Haman, what is Haman getting what salary are they giving him becoming
That's probably the boss.
Yes, nothing. But he tries as much. By the way, I can tell you Haman is a very good guy. He's a very good guy. When I came in this country, it was Haman who got me a job first.
All right. So I'll take you down to. I'll come back to the viewers. These stories really never end, and we can always talk about them today, tomorrow, and the other day. But there are questions that we have to ask, and these are the things that we talked about years before 2021, January 14. The issue of accountability, the issue of transparency in decision making. This was very important because the fights that we're seeing today could have been because of lack of accountability for the money and different resources that within the organization they have not taken seriously. One of the biggest problems to you, our viewers, and to all of us, is the diaspora has a problem of accountability. They never give you money for free. They always need feedback. What did the money do? Because that's the style of America, that's the style of Europe. And when they solicit all those funds and they're never used in the way they were supposed to, questions will come. And these questions have led us to where we are today. Who knew that at one point we will forget about what happened in Kayunga by-elections? Not even 2 months have passed and everyone is quiet about it. Who knew that the people who are in prisons will never be talked about again. All these scandals are aiming at killing those key issues that the opposition must be focusing on. I would like to read a comment from one of our viewers here. She's called Golden Amara. She says, Ugandans lack ethics, accountability, and integrity in most areas. That does not change in the region, politics, business, and all sports. And that's what we see. Both the opposition and those in the government kind of have the same way of working. In the early 2019 and 18, we asked the question, people are funding and raising all this money, but how are you spending this money? Where is the accountability? And the answer we got earlier on was, we cannot bring out all these facts because the government in power will sabotage our work. And indeed, even after the elections of 2021, those results have never been released. And maybe this could be the reason why we're seeing these fights between influencers, to send a bigger message to those that lead them. Could be the time for them to change and maybe do something different. But let's get back to the key issue that we are facing today. All in all, and I want to ask you and come back to you, Apara, shortly, could this be because of the money that the opposition is fighting amongst itself? Could it be? Not because of the money you find or you as supporters of these political organizations, but maybe the money that comes from the government into these political opposition parties. And in one way or the other, the discussion changes. There is a big issue, and Apollo, I want you to start with it. There is a big issue, Apollo, before you start. The parliamentary message of Parliament choosing the president. It was killed by both the opposition and those in the government. This is how, according to the facts we have and the history, this is how it all begins. They bring a story, they kill it. They bring it back again, they kill it. Then the third time, they make it. For those of you who don't remember how the Tojo Kwatako came into play, they first introduced it, President Museveni downplayed it. Later, we found out that behind the scenes, the cabinet was fighting to implement it. How about this time? Apple, I want to bring you in.
There is nothing in Uganda that cannot happen today. When you citizens, you have no authority. That's what I was talking about. When your powers as citizens have been captured by a group of people, so you cannot own anything. For example, you can be a minister in the government of President Museveni, and he has given you a position, but you cannot even reach him. You cannot even talk to him. Even the ambassadors, I came across of one of the ambassadors in one of the country who they say, why don't your government help people? And say, I have no one to contact. Why don't you contact a president and say, I have no any access? Can you imagine that? Because we know very well ambassador is like a president to another country. You understand? So if an ambassador cannot have an access he has a position but he has no authority over something, you understand?
Right.
So in Uganda, anything right now, Ugandans should listen to this carefully. Anything can happen as long as the one in power have the excessive powers and what he can do whatever he wants to do. No matter who, no matter somebody stands on the road and people wave to him and all the place covered with people, all stops there. But they can do anything. Listen, let me tell you something. Let me go to Kayunga. Before the elections, I think the second day when they were voting,
right?
When Museveni go over there,
right?
He made a statement. Ntinebo sulango zina. Nga enyale mutesazeewo nti ojja kuwangula tokola ki towangula kujjako ng'omuntu obwongo bwe tebukwata bulungi kigambo muntu kyayogedde omuntu n'akugamba statement eyo gwe n'olindirira enkyaba balaakalulu owangule. You understand? Ekyo kikulaga ki? What can that show you? That we as citizens, we have no any powers. We can jubilate people power, our power. Manyi g'abantu bikoma mu migambo. You understand? Kiki ekiri ku reality? Kiki ekiri ku meeza? What is on the table? A group of people owning the powers of 50 million people. They can do whatever. They can change the constitution the way they want to change it without nobody. Listen to me. First of all, there's something I was even thinking about. Because people are saying, oh, you know, NRM has a lot of members of parliament. They do this, they will do that. Let me tell you something. There is a trick somewhere. Nebwonoddira ababaka ba NRM bonna n'obateeka ku opposition ne bayisa ekintu kyonna kigenda kuddayo ewa president alina obuyinza yaba akisayiningako okufuuka ekyo kumwagala.
Right.
That means ye yayina ye center. Kakati it doesn't matter how many members of parliament he has or he doesn't have. No, ebyo tebikyali makulu eri president Museveni, tebikyali. Chayagala, whatever he wants to be, that he will do.
All right. I probably want to go back to our viewers, and I want to get some. I hope my producer will send me some comments here, and so that I can look into them, so that we don't miss any comment from anybody. But it's very encouraging at the same time disappointing that at this time the politics of Uganda is still running this way. We anticipated that at this point maybe Ugandans will have a different voice, get different answers from different participants, but it has remained the same. I recently posted on one of my Facebook page that how different is it from NUP to NRM, because somehow all these political players are kind of playing the same game, either knowing intentionally or without knowing. But I want to read some of the comments that are coming out from the viewers here. One of the viewers said, I think she's called Karen Natiene, said, it's really disappointing, but we shall overcome. And I would like to read one of Alex, I think it's called Alex Ketchton. He says, basically is telling to go on streets and riot. Then you want people to go on streets to die, and you're forgetting what happened in November. So voting is a right. However, it shows the nakedness of a dictator and others who tried, but they are untrustworthy. That is what we have in the country. The nation is changing, people fighting against each other, and the most disappointing part is the diaspora people coming against each other in different camps, all in favor of money, greed for power, and access to the key leaders. Our sources tell us that why you see many of the diaspora leaders fighting against each other is just access to Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi. Because facts remain, many Ugandans want change as much as they've ever thought of. But also, they have selfish interests. Some go to demonstrate not because they want to see change in the country, but because they want to gain numbers, either financially or just viewers, not in the interests of those who are suffering in the country. And of course, sometimes, and I would like to hear from you, our viewers.
According to
what do you think?
According to the Mr. Alex, Mr. Alex's comment,
right?
I think we miss a point somewhere. There is what they call demonstration and rioting. I think the Constitution is very clear, talking in terms of how you can do when you are unsatisfied with something. The Constitution calls it peaceful demonstration.
But there is no, we want to be honest here. Apple, there is no country which will ever allow a peaceful demonstration against the government. Not even the United States, because we've seen this before. When people want to demonstrate, the government pushes back. So, do you think that is possible in Uganda?
Yeah, I think you are right, but I can tell you that one of many of the uprising we have seen, the uprising that really took the dictators away. Let me give you the neighborhood in Sudan. People came on the streets. They were not even fighting the military. They came, sit in the roads. All of them park their cars in the road. No fighting, because there is no way someone is going to bring a mamba and go kuba. Of course, there were kind of tear gas, but people stayed there.
But people lost lives in November, just as Alex said.
That was a riot. That's what I'm telling you. That was a riot, unplanned riot. It was not a demonstration.
But you also know, okay, according to facts, that when the president hears that the demonstration is going to be against his government, they will never give you permission to do so.
Exactly.
We have seen it on Dr. Obesije's campaigns. We have seen it on Honorable Chagulanyi's campaigns. Every time they try to come out,
even here, you can remember. Okay, the one which was on the Capitol, it was not an organized, planned, given authority demonstration. That was a riot. So if it comes to like that, that's where the riot police comes in.
But Uganda, according to research, at least we know that the president the current government has always made it that every demonstration that comes in a country is a riot.
But
so
of course,
that's why they deploy the army and on all.
But of course, there is a lot of ways of demonstration. People can demonstrate the whole country, and they say we are not going to work again. You see the way that the taxis were demonstrating in Uganda. They say we are not going on the road.
Right.
Then they can do that. Apart from that, so what can we do? Because when we go in 2 terms of elections, someone has said nebo sulango holachi ngabote basazeo. That means okay. Another thing is like this. To what I want to tell Ugandans, first and foremost and lastly, to our fellow young men. Politics is a game of mind. All the politicians, they're not badly as the citizens, how they are. You understand?
Right, that's a fact.
Yes. This is what I think I was very, very many times I was telling people about this is like something I've been telling people. I don't agree with Mr. Robert Kyagulanyi a lot of time, but I have a respect for him in one of the things. He was in the music industry for a long time. He was not the only Ugandan singing, but he was among the Ugandans who are well and popular and known. By the way, when you go to his history,
right,
he has never even get money from outside. Like he has done a big show in America or in London or in Kenya. All his music was around Uganda. You understand? In that bad regime of Museveni. You understand? So I want young men to look at this. Even in hard times which we are going through,
right,
let not your mind sleep waiting for someone to deliver you.
All right.
Hold on. By the time he came into politics, it's like 5 years, right?
Right.
He has his house, beautiful house. He has his beach. He was driving fancy cars. He was not getting all that from politics. Because if he could do those things right now, they say, you understand? He has that dignity. You understand? So look at him as your role model. Don't look at him as a politician in another way, but look at him that in even those days where everything was not good, survived.
Look at the comment from Alex, and I'll end with that. Okay, so you guys who are in the diaspora, you ran out of the country, and you're saying that peaceful demonstrations can work. But let me finish up. We're gonna finish up the show tonight, and I want to thank you, our viewers, for watching the show and for following up on everything that is going on. Alex said again that, okay, you who is clever, you ran abroad so you want innocent people to die. You know guns are with those guys, hence we can stay alive until the change comes, but we will not go to the streets, die. Let's wait, we can change peacefully. Now, that's what is happening in the country. That's the kind of the political environment. And there are people who are pushing others to go on the streets and fight for this for change, and others are saying we cannot risk our lives because of candidates, so and so and so. But let me sum up the show tonight by first thanking you for watching the show, and also putting down a few things that I think could be the reasons why we are seeing all these scandals. You may be surprised why today our focus was on this scandal. It's not because it's a trending subject, but because we needed to see some dignity and hygiene in the politics of the country. One of the major causes of all these challenges is greed for power amongst all these influencers and political actors. The message was we needed a change, and all Ugandans wanted a change, but also there is greed for power within the opposition. Number two, there is a lot of mistrust and misinformation, what many call propaganda, against one another. Number three, the problem of money. For all these individuals, everyone's target is to get better. And if one individual is promised like 400 million Ugandan shillings for those who live in the country, they're eager to sell their souls and pretend to be in the opposition, yet they're not. Because the alternative game and final game that all these political actors and players and participants and supporters want to see is they themselves getting better. They themselves having a better life. They themselves enjoying each other. Bogezi Godfrey says, but I think even if we don't protest, we also die because of poor health. And that's a fact.
Yeah.
Everything is rotating around politics and business as usual. But where does this leave the country? On the screen, you are seeing more comments from Alex, and there is a reason why we posted them more today. Because we want to see how other people see things in the country. And you may have the same or different ideas. But where is this leaving when you see your influencers or supporters of the National Unity Platform fighting against each other? Isn't this the right time for the president of the National Unity Platform and all other organizations to come out and sort out the things? And maybe stop this all rumor happer that has been going on, saying, oh, the president has a lot of things to concentrate on. In my opinion, today as I sum up the show, this is one of them. Because it has done more harm than good since the day NUP was formed and since the great days of People Power movement. When your children are fighting inside, don't wait for your neighbors to come and straighten them up. Because sometimes your neighbor may be a hyena who's just looking for meat. Have a great weekend. My name is David Ubura. Apple, I want to thank you for joining me, and I thank you all our viewers who have watched the show tonight. We'll be back next Saturday to discuss more important things, looking at the corruption that is taking place in the country and who is influencing it. More stories on Frank Tumwebaze and his influence on who they appoint in the government and those who are fired. Coming up next Saturday on the Epic Front. My name is David Ubura. Have a great week.
You are watching AI TV. AI